think you can beat James Toney? And I sat back and think, I was like, can I beat James Toney? I was like, yeah, I can beat James Toney. After beating John Ruiz in the U.S. Championship, I made it to the trials, and I went to the trials as the #1 light heavyweight in the country. One crazy thing about it was the way they had it set up. If you fought Wednesday, you fought Wednesday, Thursday. You got a day off and fought Saturday. If you fought Thursday, you fought Thursday, Friday. You got a day off and fought Sunday. I fought Wednesday and Thursday, and they made me fight the next day. So after my fight, which is like 10, 11 o'clock at night, Coach Bird was like, man, Montell, you need to go in your room and go to sleep. I said, for what? He said, they make you fight Jeremy tomorrow. I said, I ain't got to fight tomorrow, I get a day off. He said, look, they make you fight Jeremy tomorrow, so you know what you're dealing with. I said, man, I can't believe this. So I tried to rush to my room, get some sleep and everything. And I fought him. I thought I won the fight again. I know they said he got out the ring and he asked Tim Austin, who ended up being my Olympian teammate, do you think I won? And Tim said, do you think you won? And that just, that cleared it up right now. He know he didn't beat me. Me and Chris Bird went to go eat lunch after the fights, and I saw him talk to his father. He's like, what you mean he ain't going? I said, what you mean? I said, you talking about Pat? He said, no, you. So said I wasn't invited to go to the box office. Hey man, I just ran down the street crying like a baby. I just felt my life was over. Like I had I didn't, reach my goal. That was my whole goal, make the Olympian team. And so I flew back to Flint because I was training in Flint. A girlfriend in Flint. I was over her house, and Coach Bird called her. She was like, man, how did Coach Bird got my number? How do you know you even over here? And Coach Bird said, hey man, we need to talk. He said, matter of fact, bring your ass home. I was like, I never heard Coach Bird curse. I'm like, all right. So I went home. He said, man, I got good news. Mitch got you another chance. That's what you mean. He said, well, you got to fight Terry McGroom again, and if you beat him, they're going to let you fight Jeremy in the box office. I said, man, I already beat Terry McGroom. I'm like, I ain't doing that. And the best thing about it was Mitch didn't argue with me. He said, you know what, just fly home. So he flew me to L.A., and a guy named Keith Jones, who worked for Mitch, came and picked me up from the airport. He said, I'm going to tell you to go see Mitch, but I got to make one stop. I said, okay. He said, hey, man, Magic Johnson back there, you want to say something to him? I'm like, that's 1992. I'm like, the Bulls just beat the Lakers. I'm like, I care less about Magic Johnson. Another hour go by. I'm like, man, when we going to leave? He's like, man, look, bro, come say hi to Magic right quick. I'm like, all right, let's go. So I walked back there. He said, Magic, this is my man, Montell Griffin. He's trying to make the Olympian team. And a guy named Toney West played in the NBA. He said, well, what weight you fight? I said, light heavyweight. He said, you're not going to Olympics light heavyweight. Jeremy Williams going to light heavyweight. I said, man, get my ticket. I'm ready to go. That's how I made up my mind. And I told Magic Johnson, I bet you see me in Barcelona. And I turned around and walked away. And when I saw him in Barcelona, I said, I told you I was going to be here. And he said, man, you did. And I took a picture with him. I went to Arizona to camp. I fought Terry McGroom in the gym. Like with people training. And they flew in judges. The whole U.S. team was training when I fought Terry McGroom. They flew in 3 judges. My lawyer had some cameramen come to make sure they ain't robbed me. And I beat him. I beat him again. So I was back in the box office. We flew to Phoenix, Arizona, and the first night, I was the only guy from the opponent's side. I forgot what they call it. But I was on the opponent's side. Everybody else was the champion, so they only had to win one fight. So the first night we fought on a Friday. Everybody won. So 11 members of the Olympic team was already made it. So me and Jeremy fought on a Sunday. I fought the main event as an amateur on NBC. So the whole arena was packed, and they just came to see me and Jeremy. So that was beautiful. Fight was shown. I think I beat him 33-8. It was a blowout, you know what I'm saying, wasn't even close. So it was just a great experience because, you just got to understand, I'm a 20-year-old fat kid, 210 pounds, without a car, with no money, with no job. I told all my friends, I said, I'm going to L.A. and I'm make the Olympic team. And everybody laughed in my face. And when I did it, what could they say? Well, the Olympic experience, man, to this day, I got 3 victories over 2 Hall of Famers. I did pretty good as a pro. But after all of that, the Olympics still was the greatest experience of my life. Just because I was, like I said, fat kid, broke, without a dime. I went to LA, and in 30 fights in a year and a half, I made the Olympic team. I beat 3 guys who was rated the #1 light heavyweight in the country. Jeremy Williams, John Ruiz, and Terry McGroom. So I'm happy about myself. I went to Russia in '92. I went to Moscow. I beat the world champion. So, you know what I'm saying? I was just, man, I was doing a lot of good things about it. When we got to Barcelona, we walked in the room 4, 5 in the morning. It was a program, a boxing program, and Torsten Meyer was on the front. I was like, damn. I'm like, that's my opponent, you know what I'm saying? Torsten Meyer, you know, he was from Germany, and the head of amateur boxing was German at the time. It was called AIBA. The head of amateur boxing was German, so they wanted to make sure they pushed their guy. So I fought the first fight. I looked at the brackets. I fought a guy from Botswana. He was the only guy from Botswana. And you know, me and Chris Bird, we both jokes, you know, we made a joke. I said, bro, either this dude is cold as hell, or he ain't gonna fight, he can't fight a lick. It's either or. And he wasn't as good, you know, he wasn't an Olympic guy. And you know, I played with him my first fight. I actually got, in the first round, I was trying to knock him. I just went crazy. Shot my load, I was dead tired. Chris Bird was laughing. He's like, man, you was tired as hell. And I won that fight. Then the second fight, I fought a kid from Korea. And I thought it was my best performance, my defense. I looked good and everything. And I was just ready. And when I fought him, all of the Cubans was at my fight because that's who I was supposed to fight next. If you look at the bracket, I was supposed to fight, at the Korean, I was supposed to fight the Cuban. And they changed the brackets and switched it up. If you watch my second fight that's on YouTube, you can hear the announcer say, the Cuban team is filming Griffin because he's gonna fight a guy next. And of course, I didn't fight him. I fought the German and 6'5" in the southpaw. But I wasn't really worried. I don't think, you know what I'm saying? I had a goal. It was just to win a gold medal. So I went, took the guy, he was southpaw, you know what I'm saying? I set him outside, I kept my right hand up. He couldn't really hit me with no punch. I think the first round was like 1-1, the second round was like 2-2. And the third round, I kind of picked it up. And I remember him, you know, he's a southpaw, so he leaning down. I went over the top. And as soon as I hit him, I just seen blood splash everywhere. It even got in my eyes, you know, so I'm trying to wipe my face off. As soon as I saw the blood, I'm like, it's over. I did my dream. I got a medal. You know what I'm saying? I accomplished my dream. And so I went to the corner, and I'm seeing them working on his eye, and I'm like, what is they doing? So I looked at Coach Chris Bird. I said, who winning? They said, you winning. I said, okay, they got me winning. Three said, box. I said, I lost. Got together. Referee broke us up, and he started taking points. I'm like, what is he taking points for? He said, my head was low. Like, I'm 5'7", 6'5". When I got in the ring, my head was low. They took 3 points from me 46 seconds ago. And Chris Bird had said I was winning, but I didn't know about how much. So I went crazy like Mike Tyson. I was just throwing bombs. I'm hitting with everything but the kitchen sink. So I'm saying I didn't know what to say or do. I'm sitting there thinking, and I'm like, what's gonna happen? And we sit in the middle ring, and they raised his hand, and I just broke down. I just ran out the ring. I was crying. I couldn't see, and I'm running. And I seen red, white, and blue, so I went in the room. So I'm just standing there, guys hugging me, and I heard the guy like, man, it's going to be all right, man. And I'm like, this ain't the USA, but, you know what I'm saying? I opened up my eyes. I was in London's dressing room. I went in the wrong dressing room. I was like, I can't get this right. And I ran in the dressing room. I'm crying, and I'm so upset. And I was just watching the Olympics this summer. I told Donnell Nuggets, I was trying to watch the Olympics, and I got depressed. Because I don't have my gold, my gold medal. It breaks my heart, but it is what it is. In 1992, Jackie Callan called. Said, man, me and James is interested in managing you. So they flew me down to Detroit. I come out the airport, I see a brand new Mercedes-Benz. Guy rolled down the window like, come on, champ, let's go. It's James Toney. James Toney picked me up. I got in his car. James Toney was my favorite fighter. Pernell Whitaker and James Toney was my favorite fighters. And he picked me up, took me to his house, like, man, you gonna stay with me? We went to the gym and trained. We hung out. We talked boxing and everything. It was just a great experience. And I sparred Booker T. Word, who's a top pro. You know, I sparred him. I did real good. Then I sparred Dennis Andres, who's a former light heavyweight champion of the world. I did very well with him. And James was like, man, you beat up everybody in the gym. I was like, well, man, thank you. I appreciate it. And Bill Miller was like, well, we sparring James next. Basically, I guess they wanted to see what I was made of. And when I sparred James, I never worried about being nervous. I never really cared about it. I was so cool and calm, and I think that's why the nickname Ice became so famous. Eddie Futz, like, man, I never seen no guy this calm before. And I was like, man, it's James Toney, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just gonna do what I gotta do. We sparred, and James was like, damn, it's like I'm sparring a mirror of myself. You know what I'm saying? It was tit for tat. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say I beat him up or nothing. He didn't beat me up. It was just tit for tat. But I was an amateur. It was 1992. So in 1995, my lawyer called me. John Kaywood called me and said, do you think you can beat James Toney? And I sat back and think. I was like, can I beat James Toney? I was like, yeah, I can beat James Toney. So they offered the fight, and my lawyer said, well, they said they'll give you $60,000. I said, well, tell them give me $100,000, I'll take it. He said, I'll give me 10 minutes. HBO called me back and said, the fight is on. The camp in Palm Springs, the Riddick Bowl, and it was a great camp, and things is going so smooth. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't excited or nothing. I told my trainer, I told Theo Turner, like, man, I ain't even excited. I mean, ain't no big deal. He said, man, stay like that. Keep acting like that. And that's how the legend of Ice grew. Eddie Fuss was like, I've never seen no kid so calm before in his life. So I was just, I just know being nervous and just burning all that unnecessary energy is hard on yourself. You know what I'm saying? Every fight, you just got to take it, for how it is and stay relaxed. And so I won the championship rounds against James Toney. That's how I won the fight. And, like I said, I'm not going to sit and say I was a better fighter, I just outworked him. And that's what I looked at that first fight. You know what I'm saying? Now, that was February of 95. We fought the second fight, December 96. So they called me, my lawyer called me, said, look, HBO wants you to fight a rematch with James Toney. He said, he gets 750, you get 250. I said, well, I was like, I beat him the first time. I said, it got to be 500 apiece. He said, give me 10 minutes. Called back, he said, 500 apiece. And I knew I was much better. I went to the fight, and this time, I wanted to prove I was a better fighter than him. And I out-hustled him. I showed mad skills. I just showed great improvement over that year and a half, and I beat him even easier the second fight. I had made a small joke about George Foreman and Ali that might have got him pissed off. You know what I'm saying? So I said, Ali is a man. I said, George will tell you. I said, George Foreman will tell you. And he probably, I don't know if he took it the wrong way or whatever, but, and the crazy part about it, though, was during the fight, George Foreman winked at me. You know what I'm saying? He winked at me during the fight. So I'm like, okay, he on my side. And during that same time, I watched the fight on the video, and he was dogging me out when he winked at me. I said, that's crazy. But after the second fight, it is what it is. I won the unanimous decision. I'm in the shower. I'm ready to party, and I hear somebody, my buddy Jeff Mason was screaming like, hey, Montell, come here. I'm standing there in my dressing room. He said, bro, you beat my man twice. I don't have no more excuses. And he hugged me. And after that, I thought that was the classiest thing in the world. For me, it's the greatest era in boxing. A lot of people stuck in the 80s with the Fabulous Four, but first of all, in the 90s, from 106 to heavyweight, it was superstar fighters. From Michael Carbajal, Humberto Gonzalez at 105, 108, to heavyweight, Lennox Lewis, Ray Mercer, Riddick Bowl, Evander Holyfield. It was stacked from welterweight. It was the most stacked division in boxing, from 108, 105 to heavyweight. And it was the greatest era in boxing. Mine is Muhammad Ali, Michael Spinks, Evander Holyfield, Pernell Whitaker, James Toney, and Floyd Mayweather. So I got 6. I can't narrow it down to 5. Or you could say Muhammad Ali. He don't count. He don't even count. He had to count, and then those 5 guys are my favorite fighters. People really only judge who they see. I'm gonna give you an example. Just like right now, everybody want to argue about Michael Jordan and LeBron. Like Kareem just never happened. You know what I'm saying? That's like Harry Greb and all those guys. Gene Toney. These guys got great. Willie Pep, 200 wins. So it's like, man, it's Henry Armstrong. It's so hard, man. It's so hard. These guys are great fighters. I mean, if you want to say, like people want to say Ray Robinson, I could take Ray Robinson, but I got to say, you got to say Henry Armstrong. If he not 1, he got to be 2. I mean, he was 3-time champ. He was champ in 3 divisions at the same time. So it's so many guys. That's why it's so hard to pick out a GOAT, man. It's really so hard. I've been in the ring with both guys. Of course, I fought Roy twice. We was in Vegas, and there's a lot of ego going on. And Big Floyd, that's what we call him. Floyd Mayweather Sr., we call him Big Floyd, we call him Little Floyd. And Big Floyd was like, man, we can't get no work. Ain't no work in this gym. And my brothers, you know, was like, hey, Montell work with him. And Big Floyd looked like, okay, yeah, we'll work with you. You know what I'm saying? I like, man, I know how to work. You know what I'm saying? So it was just speed and skill and everything. And Floyd Mayweather is the only boxer I've ever been in the ring with that I couldn't hit with a jab. I couldn't jab him. You know what I'm saying? The reason, you got another thing too. You know, I was like 183 at the time. He was 140. So it's 40-pound weight there. But I'm fighting with speed and skill. So because of how smart he was, I really didn't take a lot of chances. So I was just trying to jab on the outside and everything, and I just couldn't really hit with the clean shots. And, you know, his shots, I was able to, you know, slip and everything. So I've been in the ring with both guys, two of the greatest fighters in history. The speed is no comparison. Roy is 10 times faster than Floyd. That's crazy, but him being as big as he is over Floyd, 10 times faster than Floyd. Floyd's defense, 10 times better than Roy's. So that's how I look at it. I pretty much hit Roy whenever I wanted to. It wasn't really hard hitting Roy, just getting the distance to get the shot off. But with Floyd, I just couldn't hit him with no clean shots. So his defense is impeccable. Roy's speed is second to none, and that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.